In today's world, many people in the West are surrounded by material wealth, comfort, and opportunity, yet still find themselves feeling empty, disconnected, and lost. They may have access to every form of entertainment, education, and convenience, but deep inside, they are searching for something more, something that money, status, and fame cannot provide. This growing spiritual void has led countless individuals on a journey of self-discovery, a search for truth, and a desire for a life with meaning and direction. In this journey, many have found themselves drawn to Islam. What's striking is not just the number of people embracing Islam, but the kind of people doing it. People from all walks of life, highly educated individuals, professionals, students, mothers, fathers, artists, athletes. What they all share is a sincere desire to find purpose and clarity in a world that often feels overwhelming and confusing. Islam appeals to this deep human need because it doesn't just offer rituals or beliefs. It offers a complete way of life. It answers the fundamental questions that so many wrestle with silently. Why am I here? What happens after death? What is right and wrong? Islam teaches that life is not an accident, and that every human being has been created with purpose. The concept of Tawheed, the belief in one God, is profoundly powerful in its simplicity. It gives people a clear center in their life, a relationship with their Creator that doesn't require intermediaries, rituals they don't understand, or complex philosophical leaps. It says, you were created by God, He knows you, He hears you, and He wants good for you. This message resonates in a world where many feel unseen, unheard, and disconnected from anything greater than themselves. Moreover, Islam provides a structure that helps people navigate life with confidence. In a culture where anything goes and morality is often subjective, many find it liberating, not restrictive, to have clear guidelines for what is good and what is harmful. Islam doesn't shy away from hard questions. It provides boundaries, yes, but it also provides deep inner peace. When someone truly learns about Islam, not from headlines or stereotypes, but from the Quran and authentic teachings, they often say, "This is what I've been looking for." They realize that faith is not blind submission, but conscious surrender to a truth that aligns with their deepest instincts and longing. The discipline of prayer, the act of fasting, the obligation to give, the emphasis on gratitude and humility, these all nurture the soul in ways that the world's distractions never can. In Islam, worship is not just something you do at a mosque, it's a mindset, a lifestyle. People begin to feel anchored again, grounded in values that bring stability and honor into their lives. They begin to reconnect with their true selves, not the version molded by trends or pressures. They find peace in submission, strength in obedience, and joy in simplicity. One of the most powerful reasons Islam is rapidly growing in the West is because of the clarity and simplicity it offers about life's biggest questions. In a world full of noise, confusion, and shifting beliefs, Islam stands out as a source of certainty, structure, and unshakable purpose. People today are bombarded with contradictory messages about who they are supposed to be, what values to live by, and what will make them truly happy. One day, success is defined by wealth. The next day, it's all about self-expression. People are told to follow their hearts, chase dreams, and do whatever makes them feel good. But for many, this only leads to emptiness, anxiety, and a never-ending search for identity. Islam cuts through all that confusion with a message that is both simple and profound. You are not here by chance. You were created by one God, who has given you a purpose and a path to follow. That path is not meant to burden you, but to free you from the traps of ego, materialism, and the ever-changing expectations of society. This message appeals deeply to people who are tired of trying to create their own meaning from scratch. Islam teaches that meaning is not something we need to invent. It's already been revealed. And that revelation, preserved for over 1400 years in the Quran, and the example of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, speaks to the soul in a way that feels natural and powerful. It doesn't require blind faith. It invites reflection. It encourages learning, questioning, and seeking knowledge. At a time when many religions are becoming diluted or overly modernized to fit the times, Islam's timeless nature stands firm. Its beliefs don't change with popular opinion. Its principles don't shift with cultural trends. This consistency offers people a sense of security and direction that many are desperately craving. Islam's clarity also brings peace of mind. Instead of living in a constant state of confusion about morality or identity, Islam gives clear answers about what is right, what is wrong, and why we were created. It acknowledges the struggles of human life, but provides a roadmap for navigating them with dignity and faith. The 5 pillars of Islam, for example, are not just rituals. They are powerful anchors that organize life around a higher purpose. From daily prayers that reconnect the heart with God, to fasting that trains self-discipline, to giving charity that promotes compassion and justice, every part of the Islamic way of life brings a sense of direction and balance. What makes this clarity even more appealing is that it comes with a deep sense of purpose. Islam teaches that every action, no matter how small, can have meaning when it is done for the sake of God. Even the mundane becomes sacred. This gives life a weight and significance that so many feel is missing. In Islam, you don't wander aimlessly. You walk with purpose, guided by divine light, with the promise of reward, mercy, and ultimate success. One of the most beautiful and magnetic aspects of Islam, especially for those discovering it in the West, is the incredible sense of brotherhood and community it offers. In a world where individualism often overshadows connection, where neighbors hardly speak and families are scattered by distance or differences, Islam builds a bond between people that transcends race, class, nationality, and social background. The moment someone enters Islam, they are no longer just an individual searching alone. They are part of something bigger, a global family, the Ummah. This powerful sense of belonging touches people's hearts in ways they often never expected. For many converts in the West, who may have spent years feeling isolated or misunderstood, finding a community that accepts them, supports them, and prays side by side with them 5 times a day is life-changing. This unity isn't based on superficial things. It's rooted in shared beliefs, shared purpose, and a shared journey toward the Creator. In the mosque, a doctor might stand shoulder to shoulder with a taxi driver. A teacher might break fast next to a refugee, and no one cares about wealth, skin color, or social status. What matters is the heart, the intention, and the submission to God. This level of equality is not just spoken about in theory. It is lived daily in Islamic practice. The greeting of peace, Salamu alaikum, is exchanged sincerely between strangers as if they were lifelong friends. Community iftar dinners during Ramadan, joint charity projects, Friday prayers, and study circles create opportunities for real human connection in a time when many feel digitally connected but emotionally and spiritually alone. This deep sense of brotherhood also comes with support that goes beyond the material. New Muslims often find themselves embraced by others who help them learn, answer their questions, invite them to meals, and even support them through life's challenges. This love and compassion is not random. It's commanded by the religion. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, taught that the believers are like one body. If one part is in pain, the rest feels it too. This is more than poetic. It's real in the day-to-day lives of Muslims around the world. When a Muslim anywhere suffers, others rally to help, pray, and speak out. This sense of global solidarity moves people, especially in a world that often feels fragmented and disconnected. For people in the West, where loneliness and depression have reached epidemic levels, and where people long for authentic human connection, the communal strength of Islam is both healing and empowering. It fills a void that many never realized existed until they stepped into a mosque for the first time or shared a Ramadan evening with Muslim friends. Islam teaches that faith is not a solo journey. It's a path walked together, shoulder to shoulder, heart to heart. Whether in prayer, celebration, struggle, or learning, Muslims are reminded that they are never truly alone, and that their brothers and sisters in faith are always near. In an age where information is at everyone's fingertips, more and more people in the West are beginning to challenge the narratives they've been told, especially when it comes to religion and Islam in particular. With the rise of the internet, podcasts, social media, and easy access to translated religious texts, People no longer rely solely on traditional media or biased portrayals to understand what Islam is. They are researching for themselves. They are reading the Quran with their own eyes, listening to the stories of real Muslims, watching documentaries, and comparing religions with a fresh perspective. And what they're discovering is not a religion of extremism or backwardness, but a faith of peace, discipline, clarity, and beauty. This shift in mindset is especially evident among young people who value truth, justice, and authenticity. They are not content with inherited ideas or stereotypes. They want to know what's real. And when they dig deeper into Islam, many are surprised by how rational, spiritual, and balanced it is. This rise in independent thinking is one of the most important reasons why Islam is growing so quickly in Western countries. People are no longer accepting second-hand judgments or letting media headlines define their understanding. They're realizing that the image of Islam portrayed in movies, news outlets, or political speeches is often deeply distorted. Instead of seeing oppression, they're discovering empowerment. Instead of seeing harshness, they're finding mercy. Instead of chaos, they're witnessing order and structure. And most importantly, they're realizing that the foundation of Islam is not based on blind rituals, but on reason, reflection, and a direct connection with the Creator. Another significant factor is that many of those who convert to Islam were already on a spiritual path, searching for something deeper. They might have felt let down by modern culture, or confused by the contradictions in other belief systems. But when they encounter Islam, often through their own research and reading, it resonates with them instantly. They find that it answers their questions, calms their doubts, and gives structure to their values. The fact that Islam encourages personal reflection, emphasizes knowledge, and honors intellect is incredibly appealing. In Islam, asking questions is not only allowed, it's encouraged. The Quran repeatedly challenges the reader to think, to reflect, to observe the world, and to seek understanding. This aligns perfectly with the mindset of critical thinkers, students, professionals, and seekers of truth. Moreover, the personal stories of converts themselves have become powerful tools for spreading the message. When someone sees a former atheist, Christian, or agnostic talk passionately about why they chose Islam, it breaks down walls. It challenges people to look beyond the labels and consider that maybe, just maybe, there's more to this faith than they were led to believe. Independent thinking leads to independent discovery. And for a growing number of people in the West, that discovery is leading them straight to Islam, not because of pressure or propaganda, but because the truth speaks clearly when the heart and mind are open. In a time when people are constantly seeking ways to improve themselves, grow spiritually, and overcome the chaos of modern life, the discipline and empowerment found in Islam are attracting thousands across the West. This isn't just about rituals or religious duties, it's about transformation. The structure that Islam offers helps people become better versions of themselves, not only in worship, but in character, habits, mindset, and emotional control. One of the most powerful features of Islam is its daily system of worship that trains the soul and strengthens the will. Waking up before sunrise to pray teaches consistency, time management, and the ability to rise above comfort for something greater. Fasting during Ramadan teaches endurance, empathy, and the ability to master one's desires. Giving charity purifies the heart from greed and selfishness. These practices don't just shape a believer spiritually, they build resilience, self-discipline, and purpose, which is exactly what many people feel is missing in their lives. Unlike some spiritual paths that can feel vague or disconnected from daily reality, Islam integrates belief with action in a way that makes every part of life meaningful. Even simple acts like smiling, showing kindness, or eating with gratitude are part of worship. This practical spirituality draws people in, especially those who are tired of feeling like life is just about surviving or going through the motions. Islam teaches that every act, no matter how small, can become a source of reward if done with the right intention. This empowers individuals to see their struggles and efforts as valuable, not wasted. It also creates a sense of accountability and motivation, because in Islam, no good deed is ever lost. People who embrace Islam often describe a powerful internal shift. They feel more in control of their lives, more connected to something eternal, and more confident in the direction they're headed. Islam gives a person clear tools to deal with anger, sadness, temptation, and hardship. It doesn't promise a life without struggle, but it teaches how to handle struggle with patience, hope, and trust in God. This kind of spiritual and emotional training is something many in the West are actively seeking through therapy, self-help books, or meditation apps. But in Islam, it's embedded into the faith itself, accessible to anyone who sincerely tries to follow its path. The sense of empowerment that Islam provides is also tied to the idea that your worth is not based on your looks, your income, or your social status. It's based on your heart, your actions, and your relationship with your Creator. This message is liberating in a world obsessed with image and comparison. People come to Islam and find that they no longer need to chase approval from others. They find dignity in modesty, strength in humility, and peace in submitting to the one who knows them best. The practices of Islam reshape the soul and empower the mind to rise above distraction, confusion, and self-doubt, leading people toward a life filled with direction, inner calm, and personal mastery.